Empathy is the most important thing that has to be there in the design. Buildings are not just architecture marvels. They are to be used. They are to be admired. Obviously, it's a human emotion which is involved into it. Everything has to be addressed by the designers. Hi, I'm Rahul Tyagi and I'm an architect and product designer. I am the managing director of the firm RT Associates Private Limited, and this company deals with architecture, project management, interior design. So facades are a very important part of the entire building. You see, what happens is that facade is also controlling the climate. It's controlling the temperature of the building inside. So what we try to do is that we want to have a balance in between aesthetics and function. Sustainability should be seen in a very holistic manner. You see, we are part of this ecosystem called Earth, and anything that we do should be a part of this entire ecosystem and not be a burden on it. So when we design buildings, whether it's government or private, building is a building and they definitely have a carbon footprint. So our intention always is to reduce the carbon footprint to the minimum, use materials which are less troublesome for the environment, and also we don't want to compromise on the aesthetics and the function and the cultural aspect of the building as well. Primarily what we should do is we should focus on the function of the building, the context of the building, and what is the purpose of the building. When we take that into consideration, I think cost is something that comes along, and definitely it plays a major role, but not the role which would define the building's character. So I think we would want to work on buildings in such a way that definitely they are not cost intensive, but yes, it should be appropriate, I would say. Yeah, so aesthetics is something which goes without saying, right? Nobody wants to make a building which doesn't look good. So aesthetic is definitely a prime concern for an architect, but it should not be the only concern. And there is a lot of debate on what aesthetic is. I would consider a functional aesthetic as important. I would also consider something which is good for the environment as aesthetic. So aesthetic has a very broad meaning for every architect, and I think I look at it at a very broader sense. A building is a fixed asset, it's fixed to a context. It is not something which is movable. So it has to definitely respond to the culture, to the context, to the area, to the geography, to the climate, and it should gel with the environment as well. So I think apart from the environment, the culture aspect is also important. What color is important for a culture? What material is important for a culture? I think that is something which we have to consider as a prime concern for our design. Large scale projects have large number of stakeholders, which definitely brings a challenge to the architect. There are a lot of regulations by the authorities, there are a lot of regulations by the government bodies. Then there are so many stakeholders, everyone's concern has to be addressed. And then to construct it also requires a lot of vendors, a lot of people, a lot of manpower. So it's like a fighting a war kind of a thing, and you being on the helm of it. The mark of a good design or a good leader is that you come out of all the challenges victorious, and we were lucky that we were able to do it. Urbanization is definitely responding to the demand of the people. Our population is booming, our resources are booming, our economy is booming, so definitely buildings and architecture will respond to it. But yes, at the macro level, we have the planners of the cities who are taking care of it, but at the micro level, every architect has to own responsibility of its own, try to see the maximum utilization of eco-friendly materials, and less and less burden on the environment. We as a principle have adopted that we will design buildings which will be like zero net discharge buildings, which is a very far-fetched dream of ours, but yes, we are able to achieve them at the maximum. We have been lucky to see the transition from making manual drawings with pencil to computer-based softwares, and now it has gone even further when we have AI and we have very advanced softwares. And AI, as I said, should be used as a tool and not as a threat. So obviously they should be used as tools, and they are definitely good tools. But I think the BIM, which has recently been developed a lot, is a very effective tool for architects, and I really am kind of impressed with that, which gives us a lot of information which would not be available without the help of these softwares. I think cultural aspect and sustainability was always there. You go back into the history, every building responded to that. Maybe in this fast urbanization and industrialization, we kind of lost touch with that. And I would say the modern education system also kind of played a role in alienating us from that. It is good that now we are rising up and we are again going back to our roots and trying to use this. This will always be. Wherever there is a human aspect to it, there will be culture. And wherever there is environment and ecology involved, there will be sustainability. I think for the young generation which is gearing up to take up the mantle, first and foremost is they should always respond to the user. They should have empathy for the user. And definitely they are lucky to have so many technologies available to them. So they should use it in the right direction. And lastly, they should love what they do. Every generation adapts to their age, and the only thing is that we should try and see that we should leave something for the next generation as well. I think ACP and zinc cladding are something which are responding to the need of the hour, and they are definitely new innovative materials. So in that case, ACP, since its durability is quite high, would qualify, because then you don't need to paint, you don't need to plaster, you don't need to redo things again and again. I think Aludecor has got really good durable products, and their fire properties are higher, their thermal properties are higher, which will definitely bring comfort to the inside zones. And they respond well to the facade, because architects want an innovative facade, and something which also takes care of the thermal issues. So where I think Aludecor products are really good. Aludecor team is quite informative, and they have been pushing now to pass on the information which is lacking with the designers, and they are trying to interact with them in a better way so that these information are passed on to the team. I think Aludecor's new sand and rustic series is a good attempt at bringing the real textures of materials. This will be really a good tool for architects and designers, because we also want a lot of textures on our facades where people can experience.